The makeovers are some of the most memorable episodes in all of Top Model, and there's one that stands above all the others. This is Cycle 5, Episode 2, The Girl Who Needs a Miracle. Since this is the first time I've discussed Cycle 5, I figure I'll catch you guys up by showing you a little bit of Tyra's recap of the last episode.
Previously on America's Next Top Model. 13 finalists moved into their new home in Bel Air. Cassandra revealed some interesting facets of her personality.
You know how sociopaths don't feel emotion, and that's why they can kill people without ever feeling bad about it? Only I never killed anybody.
That probably feels like a weird way to set the episode up if you've never seen it before, but it's actually quite informative. That is most of what you need to know. And yeah, the show doesn't really waste time getting to the makeovers, so neither will I. They take the girls to some salon I've never heard of, run by some dude I'm apparently supposed to know.
Well, of course you know where you are, right? You're in a hair salon, but not just any hair salon. You're in the Louis Licari hair salon. This is Mr. Louis Licari himself. He is a legend. He is the master of color. He is the colors to every star, tons of supermodels.
All right, I don't want to sound mean, but if he really is the master of hair that they say he is, why is his own hair not better? He looks like he's about to audition as Jerry Seinfeld's stunt double, and frankly, it makes me doubt his instincts a little bit. They go through each girl one by one and tell them about their makeovers. Some are small.
Corinne, you're gonna actually be a blonde.
Oh my God.
And some are a little bit more drastic.
Ebony, we're gonna have braids all the way down to here.
Some feel like they were given a lot of thought.
Let me see, Lisa. I think that the hair should give more contrast to the eye color. If we make your hair color richer, chocolatey, all of a sudden your blue eyes are just going to pop.
And some seem like Tyra is kind of just pulling random words out of her butt on the spot.
Diane, we are gonna give you wheat color like on a prairie.
Okay.
Ultimately, though, none of them really matter too much. They do their hair before every photo shoot anyway, and that usually includes wigs and extensions and all sorts of other changes that make this one makeover they got at the beginning of the competition feel kind of pointless. Also, a lot of what happens here barely qualifies as a makeover. Brie basically just gets her hair straightened.
Brie, we're gonna just straighten you out and make you bone straight and sexy.
And don't get me wrong, it looks great. But I'm not sure it was ever intended to last for the entire 2 months it took to film this season. And of course it doesn't. Most of her photos feature her with her natural hairstyle. And she's not the only person whose makeover doesn't really last. They turn Lisa into some sort of Justin Bieber prototype.
That's great, right?
But she really only looks like that while she's in the salon. Before the end of the episode, she goes back to styling it exactly like she did before. Which is probably for the best. I feel like the models aren't being made over so much as staged. Like you do to a house you were trying to sell. This is when they pose for their cast photos, so they're basically being done up how the show wants to market them. I think the main purpose of the makeovers is less to change up the girls' looks, and more to establish who they are as models. I think right now they're basically telling them who they want them to be, and as proof, I submit the fact that while they're getting their makeovers, Jay goes around and tells them who they want them to be.
I want you to evoke the early supermodels. Okay. You're not the sophisticated girl. You're not the fashion-forward girl. You're kind of like that bohemian chic. You got texture and you got the color.
And in concept, I don't think that's the worst thing the show's ever done. Probably not in the top 100 if we're being honest. If they're going to judge the girls based on some expectation of them that they have in their head, I think that they absolutely should make it clear what that expectation is. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how clear they actually make it.
You're kind of like that sophisticated young model, so you bring notice to yourself by being fashionably casual.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say that they decided on everyone's new model persona by giving Jay a key bump and telling him to wing it, because it very much feels like he's making these up on the spot. Some are simple.
I want you to start thinking of yourself as that sophisticated girl.
Some are a little bit more complex.
Jay told me that my new look is gonna be like 90s supermodel, kind of like the wide-eyed supermodel.
I'm pretty sure Diane's was just Jay trying to think of a euphemism for plus sized. My personal favorite though was Bree's.
I'm just going through with all the girls how they can incorporate their style with their new makeover. You're a little more like the ghetto fab girl.
Like I said, they didn't really give her a makeover. So Jay's kind of just saying that to her, which feels very offensive. Thankfully, Bree takes it all in stride.
I guess that just means that I'm fabulous one way or another, because there was nothing drastically done to me, then nobody can come up with a conclusion of how to make me even more beautiful.
I feel like it probably goes without saying, but Bree's my favorite from this season. In Cycle 6, Jay worked with the models to come up with their personal styles, and I think that made a lot more sense. Even if it didn't really work out for everyone.
Who is Sarah now?
There's a lot edgier than she used to be.
Like street chic?
Somehow try and find that middle area between what's appropriate and what's sexy.
For the record, I wouldn't leave the house in these. Like, I would never do that.
Shut up, Sarah. Assigning them personalities feels wrong to me. Saying that out loud, it sounds obvious, but I actually think it's wrong for reasons that are beyond the normal reasons that Top Model is wrong. There's honestly something kind of unfair about it. For one thing, a lot of the descriptors used are brands.
I'd actually really see you as a Ralph Lauren girl.
And if the girl doesn't know what that brand is, she might have a hard time molding her entire identity to it. I'm also not sure how well Jay really knows them yet. He kind of just goes off of what he thinks they should be.
Your sense of style before was a little bit rocker girl, but we want to make you look a little more chic.
After watching the season, if I were to describe Jayla, I'd call her a manic, depressive pixie dream girl. But as best as I can tell, the only thing that Jay knows about her at this point is that she has black hair. So he seems to really dig into that.
I wanted blonde hair and I wanted it long, but I at least got the long hair.
And if Jayla doesn't mesh well with what she's given, that puts her at a disadvantage compared to someone like Kim.
I'm the only person who's been told to stay completely in my personal style.
All right, I'm not sure they're using the term femboy correctly, but still, it does seem like Kim has to do a lot less work than the other girls to be who they want her to be. And I don't think that's because Jay understood her any better. I think he probably spent 5 seconds looking at her and saw that she's a lesbian. As best as I can tell, though, being a lesbian is Kim's entire personality at this point in her life, so that worked out nicely for her. By the time they leave the salon, all the models are on unequal footing. And I think the producers probably like it that way, because unequal footing means conflict, and conflict means drama, which is ultimately the only thing that Top Model cares about. And that actually leads me to the other point of the makeovers, because like everything else on the show, I think they're designed to test the girls. They definitely want the contestants to complain. They even wrote it into the Tyra mail.
Tyra mail!
Don't bitch and moan about this hairy situation, but be ready and leave at 8:45 a.m.
Makeovers!
And then, just in case that didn't make things clear, Tyra repeats that same line verbatim at the salon.
Are y'all ready to bitch and moan about a hairy situation?
Watching someone have a freak out over something as seemingly insignificant as a haircut is great television. And so it makes sense that the producers would do whatever they can to jumpstart those freakouts. Honestly, I think production might look for the girls most likely to have big reactions and purposefully gives them makeovers that are designed to antagonize them. Obviously, I don't know that for sure, but I have an easier time believing that than the idea that they actually thought that this was the best look for Jade. Take Nicole, for example. She doesn't seem like she really has the highest tolerance for discomfort. I feel like she makes this face a lot when they ask her to do stuff. Of all of the girls, she definitely seems like one of the ones most likely to cry. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of their thought process when they decided on this.
Alrighty, I'm gonna start with Nicole. We're gonna give you hair weave and make you even more curly and more fabulous and more value.
I would argue that Nicole kinda already came into the competition with her perfect hairstyle. And I think that's why the show chose to just give her the same hairstyle again, but as a weave this time.
I love long, thick hair, and that's exactly what I got. I'm really pumped up about it.
From what I understand, weaves don't feel great. And I think the only reason they'd bother with one in this situation is, to cause her pain. Thankfully, it doesn't really seem to bother her, although, honestly, even if it did, I'm not sure that they'd really spend much time focusing on it. They have much bigger fish to fry here. And this brings us back to Cassandra.
You know how sociopaths don't feel emotion and that's why they can kill people without ever feeling bad about it? Only I never killed anybody.
You see, I told you that would be important. If it wasn't obvious from that clip, the show is painting a very clear picture of who Cassandra is as a person. And frankly, I don't think they really had to work too hard to get there. There is something a little bit serial killery about her.
I'm so confident in the way I look, and I think I present myself very well. I have a great natural beauty, and I don't think I really need to change much to enhance that.
I think it's her eyes. There's definitely a darkness there. It very much feels like she's doing her best to keep something behind them at bay. And in her defense, I don't know that she actually is. I've learned to never trust what I see on this show, and I think odds are just as good that she's a lovely person and this is all being built up in the edit. I think that most things about her can be explained away by the fact that she comes from the pageant world. Her whole vibe feels a bit artificial, and that could just be from years of practicing poise and not some underlying mania she's trying to hide. Or maybe it's a bit of both, but whatever the case, she does give the impression of someone who's very tightly wound. And this makes Cassandra a natural target for the producers, because when they see someone who's tightly wound, they're going to do their best to try and unwind them. And what makes matters worse for her is the fact that she really is very pretty. It's obviously not the biggest problem in the world, but still, I think she, more than anyone in the season, could pull off whatever makeover they decided to throw at her. And that gave the show free reign to do whatever they felt like. So they chose this.
Cassandra, you have poise, you are a beautiful woman, but in that judging room, all the answers are right because you're a beauty queen, and it's kind of bland. It's safe. It's like, who is the real girl up under all that hair? So you know what I'm doing? Have you ever seen that movie, Rosemary's Baby, starring Mia Farrow? You haven't? Well, I'll explain what her hair looked like in that movie. It was a little bit lighter than yours, and it was this short.
Oh my God.
Hey, yeah, Cassandra is not happy about that.
Cassandra, why are you crying?
I love my hair.
Although on the plus side, the judges did say they wanted to see more emotion from her, so in that sense, it was definitely a success.
Come on.
It's good to see Cassandra show some emotion. She's basically been a robot this entire time, and this is the first time anyone has seen her do anything that's even remotely close to being human.
You ready?
No.
Come on. Okay.
I don't want to watch.
3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. It's okay, you're ready.
The show claims that they are genuinely doing what they think would look best on her.
We're not just cutting this just to cut your hair.
Oh,
This
no.
fits your face.
Your face is strong enough to handle that.
I'm not sure how much I believe that, though. This haircut puts Cassandra through the ringer in too many ways for me to buy that it wasn't based on more than just her bone structure. For one thing, it is very not her.
Obviously, I'm still gonna be a feminine person because that's how I am. What bothered me most about the makeover is Jay said, no, you can't act feminine anymore.
A lot more kind of mod, a little more edgy.
You have to act edgy.
I mean, I'm not sure those two things are mutually exclusive, but even still, I get what she's saying. I think it's pretty clear that this Texan pageant queen is a bit of a girly girl, so I think they knew what they were doing when they cut her hair short.
So you're gonna have to say bye-bye to Beauty Queen.
And it's not just the length of the hair, it's the styling too. The model Sona they give her is mod with a twist, which, based on what little I know about her, may very well be the opposite of what she's going for in her everyday life. Also, the choice of mod in particular feels a little suspect to me. It is, after all, closely associated with this lady.
I was the first working class model.
We don't say working class, we say ghetto.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I'm ghetto then.
Twiggy's ghetto.
And she joined the judging panel this season. I'm not sure that was a coincidence. They also go abroad to London, which is the birthplace of modness. And if I recall, there's a challenge later on that requires the girls to put together an outfit in the mod style. I think this was always meant to be the season of mod. I don't think that they looked at Cassandra and thought that's the hairstyle for her. I think they looked at the haircut and said, someone's getting it. Who will take it the hardest? I think they were doing their best to push the fact that they managed to cast Twiggy. Honestly, it's weird that they didn't just give her Twiggy's haircut because they look very similar to me. Although the more I think about it, the more I think that there's a chance that this was also an attempt to push this poor girl over the edge. Tyra very clearly asked for Mia Farrow and Rosemary's Baby, and given that Cassandra's a pageant girl from Texas, it's not possible that that might be something she's uncomfortable with.
Did you ever see the movie Rosemary's Baby?
No.
Mia Farrow? It's a pretty freaky movie. She's like pregnant.
With the devil's baby?
There you go.
Some of the best freakouts on the show have been religious in nature. This may very well have been an attempt to say, how badly do you want this? Do you choose it over your God? I know that sounds extreme, but Tyra would absolutely give a contestant that ultimatum. Ultimately, though, the main reason I think that this whole thing was a bit of a setup was this moment.
You're gonna look so great, you don't even know.
This is a really big shock.
But wait, you know what you told us in casting?
I'm really easy to work with, and I think that the photographers and makeup artists would love me because I will do what you tell me.
Do you know how many goddamn audition tapes there must have been for this season? Do you know how many months before this Jay would have watched them? If he watched them at all, frankly, I don't know why he would. The fact that he was able to remember that specific moment means that he came in prepared. He knew that he was going to have this conversation with Cassandra because getting her to break down was in their plan all along. And if that's the case, then I feel like they're not really that successful.
It's been 12 hours for crying.
If they want me to be somebody and I'm not, then why do I want to do this?
Okay, granted, 12 hours is a bit excessive, but her reaction isn't all that entertaining. She mostly just cries and sulks.
You gotta trust us, seriously.
I am. It's just taken a lot out of me. I mean, I did it.
She's not wrong. She did what they told her to do. She's just not happy about it. Although honestly, I remember her being way worse than she actually is. I think of this as one of the biggest meltdowns in the history of Top Model, but I don't even think it's top 10. Especially if you include the judges. Is she annoying? Yeah, very much so, but I do get the sense that she's trying her best not to be.
Maybe I should sleep with my ponytail under my pillow.
Oh God, why?
Because I miss my hair. Maybe, so when I'm in the middle of the night and I feel it on my shoulder, it'll be comforting.
I'm complaining. All I want to do is talk about my hair, make everything about my hair.
I can't play with my hair. When I go to brush my teeth and then I look in the mirror, it's not gonna be pretty.
I think there's a lot of girls who still don't understand why I got so upset about it, but they should.
She seems like she's doing that thing where something is weighing on you so heavily that you can't help but bring it up. So you try your best to talk about it in a way that feels casual and cool, but it's still pretty clear to everyone around you that you're not really as calm about the situation as you're trying to be. Frankly, I don't even know that I would have realized how bad she's being if the show hadn't kept cutting to other contestants complaining about how bad she's being.
My hair, my hair, my hair.
The way Cassandra has acted might put her at stake for elimination.
We'll see how far I get and we'll see how much this hair is really gonna work for me. We'll see.
And again, would I personally want to be around her right now? Of course not. I don't like feelings. That said, I don't know how much I should be basing my opinion of her on what her competitors are saying behind her back. They're a bunch of 20-year-olds in a house without a television. If they don't find things to talk shit about, how the fuck else are they gonna pass the time? And if we're being honest, I think I might also be a little annoying if I were in her situation. They made her cut her hair short when she likes it long. That's not nothing. I like my hair short, and if someone sat me down and said, we're making you get extensions right now, I'd probably let them. That sounds fun, and I'm high a lot of the time anyway, but if after I got them, I hated them and I wasn't allowed to take them out, I'd probably complain. Also, even though I think her makeover looks good, it truly does put her at a disadvantage. Like a very strong disadvantage. The girls are taken to a roof in the part of Los Angeles I was always too afraid to go to, and it's there that this week's guest judge gives them their next challenge.
Oh my God, who's that?
This bald guy with makeup comes out and he's wearing what looks to me like a clown dress.
Hello, ladies.
And he tells us about our challenge, and I'm still thinking, what is this guy wearing?
I'm James St. James, club kid extraordinaire, fashion provocateur, and definition of personal style.
Huh. Okay, so on one hand, he makes perfect sense as a judge this week because it's all about personal style and, well, look at his outfit. I want it. On the other hand, though, there's something about him being here that feels a little bit off, let's say. His name is James St. James, and like he said, he was one of the original club kids, a notorious group of event planners, I guess. I don't know. They lived in New York and dressed really flamboyantly, and they threw the kinds of parties where everyone would be mean to me if I went. But I'd obviously never get in the first place. If alcohol made speakeasies in the 20s, then ketamine made the club kids in the 80s and 90s. Their main haunt was this converted church called the Limelight, where they'd throw these elaborate ragers, and to say that they had a huge influence on the pop culture that followed them would be an understatement. Still, I think that when a lot of people think of the club kids today, the first thing they think of is Michael Alig, who was one of the movement's most prominent party promoters before he murdered a guy with a hammer. And did some other things that I won't go into here. I can't tell if St. James was Alig's friend or enemy. I think it was a little bit of both, but they are intertwined enough that having him judge a competition where a bunch of girls try to shop for the best outfit seems I don't even know. Because it's not like James St. James murdered anyone, but he did write the book on the murder? Nowadays, he's probably best known for writing Disco Bloodbath, which documents Alig's crimes, but is also partially an autobiography. So, yeah, at the very least, he's murder adjacent. Honestly, I'm not even sure why I'm going into this deep. It doesn't really have all that much to do with the episode. I just think the story is interesting, and pointing it out is a good example of how deep the darkness below the surface of Top Model runs. But yeah, basically he's the queer and rule, and he's here to give the girls their challenge this week.
Personal style means that you can be fat, 40, and bald, and dressed like a clown, and still be the most fabulous person in the room. It means that you have a look, and it means that you have a point of view behind your look. Today, we're going to have a personal style mission. We're going to go shopping in Beverly Hills. You each get $500 to buy an outfit that fits your personal style.
Honestly, it's a pretty fun idea for a challenge, but again, I also think it's inherently unfair because of this little caveat that they tack on to the end.
Just to remind you all, these are based on the styles that Jay gave you yesterday. So you're going to be building on that and taking it to the extreme.
I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not sure Cassandra super knows what mod even means because, well, I'm pretty sure most people from our generation's introduction to it was this episode. And because of that, she has a tough time picking out an outfit.
It was kind of difficult because I'm not familiar with the mod style that Jay gave me.
Do you think it's mod?
No.
She does her best.
Jay told me to look mod and hipster.
But ultimately, it's not enough.
I think you need to be a little more bold. I think you need to take a little more risk. You need to just sort of to own your new look.
And again, I'm not even sure they showed her a picture of something that might constitute mods. So honestly, if I were Cassandra, I'd be pissed if I walked back from being judged and heard this.
Jay told me not to change my personal style too much.
For the photo shoot this week, the girls go to a farm where they each wear the same outfit as someone else. Also, there are horses there sometimes.
Oh, the horse snotted on my dress.
That's okay, we can retouch that.
Okay.
I'll be honest, this isn't the most creative shoot in Top Model history. And that's probably why it feels the most like a shoot that could actually happen in the real world. From what I've seen, the majority of actual modeling is just people going to farms and putting on different outfits. The main challenge here is the pairing off of it all. The girls are going head to head with one of their competitors, and at judging, one will be declared the winner. I think it's a fun concept, but in practice, nothing that happens here is all that memorable. All the photos look like something you'd flip past in a magazine, and the fact that there are 2 girls to every outfit means that a lot of it blurs together. Still, as always, I wanted to do my best to recreate it. So I'll do that now. So yeah, as you can see, I've changed into my housekeeping sweater. This is, for whatever reason, the look I've decided is my neutral outfit on this channel. There's a very big lore to my videos in my head that you guys probably don't even notice. But so yeah, I'm wearing this now, and I'm gonna pose like I guess Cassandra was hunching, so I feel like I should hunch too, which is hard. Maybe no, that's very potato-ish. Let's see. Neck out. Okay, so something there is probably fine. And now, to really make it the same as the other photo. I need someone to wear the same outfit as me and pose. And the obvious thing to do would have been to find a human who's my size that could just wear this sweater. But that would require me talking to a human who's my size, which would require human interaction. And I'm not about that. So instead, I spent the weekend knitting a sweater for my cat to match this. And so he's going to pose now. Ow! Ow! Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me. Okay. Come on. I know. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible asshole, but I need you to do this for me real quick. Ugh. Dipper, stop it. All right, so here he is. As you can hear, my dog does not like it when the cat is in rooms that he's not allowed into, so there's gonna be some barking, bleeding now because the cat scratched me when I put the sweater on. Come on, Doodle, look. Let's look. Oh my gosh, Doodle, Doodle, come here. Oh, that's handsome boy, come on. Doodle. Okay, wait. Doodle. He's really hard to photograph. He's so white with the lights. Doodle. Okay. Good boy. Obviously, Doodle looks better. I think that just goes without saying. Hi, buddy. In the photo shoot, Cassandra's critiques are once again not all that great, although I'm not really sure why that is this time. She actually seems to be doing pretty well here.
Take a big inhale and then exhale.
Slump forward.
I always sit up very straight with my shoulders back. So I would hunch, and Jay would say, that's not a hunch. But it felt like such a hunch to me.
I'm no expert on hunches, but I'm gonna go with Cassandra on this one. She seems quite hunched.
Cassandra, time to be a little more kind of just like this.
Yeah.
Just like this. Not so.
Yeah, exactly.
Not so forced.
It feels telling that Jay didn't have a word to describe what he wanted Cassandra to be. Honestly, I don't think he actually knows. He just wants her to be different from who she is now.
Lean into your right hip instead of your left hip. Switch hips. That was good.
Like, just stand normally, as if I was talking to you.
I stand straight up, okay.
Working with Cassandra wasn't a super joy because I felt like we were trying to make her into a model. Last frame.
The first time I ever talked about Top Model, I shared my theory that Lisa was originally supposed to win Cycle 5, but then they swapped her out for Nicole once she peed herself on camera. But now I'm starting to wonder if maybe Cassandra was supposed to win. The thought never even crossed my mind before, but it would make sense. I think the only person who can take better photos than her in this cast is Nick. And unlike Nick, Cassandra actually has a storyline. It seems pretty obvious that their goal with her was to take this pageant girl from Texas and mold her into this edgy, high fashion girl fit for the runways of Milan. And I think it's a goal that they were actually hoping they could achieve. Tyra clearly has a vision for who she wants Cassandra to be, and I think that's why in judging, she starts splitting hairs. Literally. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. That's not what haircuts are. Are they?
Cassandra, I gotta tell you, I'm in love with your new look. It's a whole new you.
Yes, it is.
But work that new you, because it works.
I'm not happy with it, I'll be honest, because this is not the hairstyle that I told him to give you. I specifically said Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby.
Gun to my head, I could not tell you how what she has now differs from Mia Farrow and Rosemary's Baby, but the fact that Tyra cares enough to get it exactly right does suggest that she's invested in Cassandra. So they tell her that at her next photo shoot, she's going to get another inch taken off to get closer to Tyra's intended makeover. And you'd think that would be the end of it, but instead this happens.
I'm not gonna cut it, Jay. No. I'm not gonna cut it. I told him I wasn't gonna cut my hair anymore, that I didn't think I needed to in order to be successful at this.
So you're not ready to cut your hair?
No.
You know, I really don't have time for this today, so you just gotta leave my set.
And it all feels just a wee bit dramatic for an inch of hair.
I have to be myself, and I want to walk out of this competition knowing that I did what I think was right in the long run, and that includes not letting people try and change the way I am.
Hello? Tyra?
Yeah?
It's Jay.
I think that's why it never crossed my mind that they may have actually had high hopes for her. If you would have asked me before I rewatched this episode, I would have said that Cassandra was one of the biggest drama queens in the history of Top Model. The main thing I remember about her is that she was so difficult that she chose leaving the competition over letting them take another inch off of her hair. And when you think about that out of context, it does make her seem crazy. Rewatching this episode, though, I realized that she actually seems, well, crazy, but in a very different way. She's certainly not difficult. If anything, she feels like a Stepford wife. She seems too eager to try and put on a smile, even though it's clear that everything's not okay.
Well, I'm gonna do the best I can with this hair, and I think that they did it for a reason, so I'm gonna try to use it as an advantage.
Still, I think I'm only saying that because the show is doing its best to make her look a certain way. There's a reason they opened the episode by recapping this.
You know how sociopaths don't feel emotion, and that's why they can kill people without ever feeling bad about it? Only I never killed anybody.
And it's not just the recap. They're clearly doing what they can to make Cassandra's behavior in this episode seem way worse than it actually is. I think the most egregious example was right after Tyra tells her that she's getting her hair done again.
So if you do survive this week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you get the haircut that I wanted you to have. Is that top connected?
Like, yeah, she makes a little face, but I'm not sure I would have noticed it if they hadn't scored it with the public domain equivalent of the theme from Halloween. They're telling the audience exactly what we're supposed to think of Cassandra, so that by the time she walks out on the world's least noticeable haircut, we know that it's because she's the crazy one. I'm not so sure that she is, though. Although I'm also not so sure that she isn't. If you watch my videos, then you know that I do not hesitate to defend the models on this show. And while I definitely think that Cassandra does deserve to be defended, I am a little hesitant about it in her case. Looking at the empirical data we're given, I think it's safe to say that Cassandra is given a bad edit here. But even still, there's something that's making it hard for me to enthusiastically wave my flag for her. And I can't tell if that's because I truly am picking up on some weird vibes, or because the power of the edit is that strong. If there's an opposite of Cassandra in this episode, I'd say it's probably Kim. She's the cool girl who would never let something as silly as a makeover get to her.
I've never heard anyone complain so much in my life. It's like a joke. Yeah. We're like, oh my God, the phone's working. She's like, well, good, I have to use it because I have to tell people about this. It's just like,
and she got first dibs because of her hair.
Cassandra was not adapting well to her hair. And I think that like that might hurt her in this.
But here's the thing. If I were to just look at the things they say in this episode, Kim grates on me way more than Cassandra does. I'm not sure that what I'm about to say will be received positively by all, but I don't know how else to say it, so I'm sorry in advance. But yeah, some of the biggest fuckboys I've ever met in my life were hot lesbians of a certain age. And I think that the Kim we see in this episode is at that age. She has the vibe of someone who thinks that gossiping doesn't count when she does it because she calls it talking shit. There's something about her that's very above it all, even when she's clearly down in the dirt with everyone else. In that clip I just showed you, she's literally complaining about how much Cassandra complains. And based on how she reacts when she learns about her competitor's makeover, I get the sense that she was going to do that no matter what.
Have you ever seen that movie Rosemary's Baby starring Mia Farrow? You haven't? Well, I'll explain.
Also, for what it's worth, Kim didn't really have to do anything. Like she said, she's the only one who didn't change up her personal style at all, so of course it's easy for her to sit there and talk about how Cassandra should have reacted. Who's to say what she would have done if she had been subjected to something a little more drastic? Her hair's already pretty short, but she seems hesitant to cut it any shorter.
Kim.
Yeah. I'm definitely not expecting to get my hair like buzzed off or something because, I mean, you can't have a lesbian with buzzed hair. It's like too much.
And she actually does manage to complain about the very small changes she goes through.
So feminine red hair. Do you think I look really feminine?
I don't think it is. No, I don't.
You know, I'm trying to maintain like my own personal expression, and like that might be hard with this color. No boy has this color hair.
So you're not a boy.
Yeah, but you know, that's like my thing.
I guess I can't say for sure, but if the show had decided to drastically shake up her look and give her extensions or something, I don't think it would have been unreasonable for her to want to call home and complain about it. In my head, I couldn't imagine two more different contestants, but when you think about it,
I'm so confident in the way I look, and I think I present myself very well. I have a great natural beauty, and I don't think I really need to change much to enhance that.
is not that far off from this.
I have better style than most of these girls, all these girls.
Still, had you asked me who I liked better before I spent a full week poring over every frame of this episode, I probably would have said Kim. Hell, I still might say Kim. Even as I'm saying this, with Kim, I feel compelled to give her the benefit of the doubt, but with Cassandra, I feel like I need to find a way to mention that she married the guy who plays Green Arrow, who seems kind of shitty. Even though that's not super relevant to anything I'm talking about right now. It's not fair to say, but I think the vibes with Cassandra are just off. And honestly, I think she knows that as well as anyone. She's a pageant girl, and I'm sure in the pageant world she's a queen, but in the world of top model, she just feels a bit out of place. I do think she was a very good contestant for the show, but I think that's only because they emphasized how out of her element she truly was here. Had they actually given her a winner's edit, I think that best case scenario she'd be boring. Also, Nick still should have won. I think she's probably the most beautiful contestant they've ever had. And I have a much longer rant that I go on if this video wasn't already running long. I don't think that Cassandra as she was a good fit for the show. Like I said, it seems like any interest they had in her was rooted in their desire to change her. And I don't think she wanted that. It wasn't just cutting 1.5 inches of hair for her. It was the last straw in them completely trying to change who she was.
It wasn't just cutting 1.5 inches of hair for me. It was the last straw in them completely trying to change who I was.
See? And in that sense, I think there's honestly something kind of admirable about her on the show. Based on what we see, I don't feel confidently enough about where she was on January 6th to defend her, but even still, I sympathize with her. It might not seem like it, but I think we've all been in Cassandra's situation at some point in our lives. The sad fact of the matter is that people are constantly assigning us the personalities they want us to have and judging us based on how well we can conform to those personalities. And though it sometimes feels like we should change to fit that doesn't really work out most of the time. We don't all need to compete for the same crown. When you find yourself in a situation where the vibe's not there, there's no point in cutting off 1.5 inches of who you are. Sometimes the best solution is to just walk away.
I'm going home. I'm gonna go back to Texas and I'm gonna get some hair extensions and hopefully you'll see me as a future Miss USA.
But yeah, that's my video. Please like and subscribe and share and comment. And follow me on Reddit. I have a Reddit, and I use Reddit more now than a lot of the other social media sites. Reddit and Blue Sky. But Reddit, I think, could be fun. I've seen other YouTubers get like memes to react to and stuff, and I hope to one day get my act together that I could do something like that. Probably not, but it's fun to dream. Also, if you'd like to support the channel and have a few bucks to spare, you could consider giving to the Patreon or becoming a member or super thanksing me, which, speaking of, I do have some super thanks to super thanks back. So thank you to BoxoKitten0909, Pazuzu Paws 1515, Q Squared 8833, Fate 23, Laura Hertzman 943, Soft Sad Boy, Unexpected Ancient Bear, Patrick Felon. I'm gonna say felon, but I apologize because if I'm wrong, then it sounds like I'm calling you a criminal. Seda Prescott, Schlabadoo22, Mary Hansen 2258, Pumpkin Spice Creations, Megan C4442, Jen Tribenbrook 33. I'm never gonna know how to say that correctly. I apologize. So that's your name now. Angel Barrera 3890, Carolyn H 6852, Tortilla Chips 3911, Tortilla Chips 3911. I think that's it. Wait. Did I respond to people? I made a point of trying to respond to people so that they would all be in the same spot, and also because I should respond to the people who were giving me money, so I'm not an asshole. But then I only did it to like a couple people, and so now I feel like I ended up losing super thankses. You don't care. Schlabadoo22, The Asterisk, Irish Alchemy, Sada Prescott, Mark7920, Hungry Terrors, Nina Eliza Stratton, Sorry Sod, A.G. Kemper, Jen Tribenbrooks, Dr. Skellabone. I think I already, I remember that one. I thank you. Thank you. I need a better system for that. Goodbye. Hello, it's time for the part where I pose, and I don't even know. I don't think this one, I feel like I signed up. Hello, it's time for the part where I pose, and I don't even know what to do for this one. I feel like yeah, I feel like the episode is a good one to talk about, but the concept of the episode isn't very flashy. Like, I feel like I'm gonna call it like, this is the worst makeover in top model history. I feel like the only like, I don't know. I feel like the most bombastic thing would be like James St. James in the thumbnail, but I don't know, what I like do, like an arrow pointing to like friends with a murderer ? Which seems salacious, and also I don't know if they were friends. I think he might have hated him. I don't really know. I should read that book. I'm interested in it. I just think I'm dyslexic. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do anything different. I know. Maybe this one I'll wear glasses, and that way people can So I'm sorry if you're getting here and being like, where the fuck are his glasses from been this whole time? They were just a clever ruse to make you guys think I'm smart. I object. That's what I say when I take off my glasses. The hard part about glasses though is I do have lighting, so it's gonna like if I do this, I look like some sort of goblin creature. But if I do this, ooh. The other thing I do want to say is I like one of the first things I ever got yelled at in the comments for is using the term sociopath as a pejorative, and I apologize to any sociopaths. That still feels weird for me to say, but I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But I do feel like I might have tiptoed in that area in this video, so hopefully that's not the case. Because I was thinking the other, I think, bombastic title would be to point to her and say sociopath, but I don't want to do that because I feel like that's not cool from what the comments have told me. I should stop talking. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, like who do I look like? I think like I feel like every time I put on glasses, there's the part of me that's like, I'm gonna look like that hot guy who wears glasses and isn't a nerd. But then I just look like the nerdy guy who needs glasses. Does that make sense? My timer's beeping, which means that I should just go. It's probably for the best. I have not really said anything worthwhile in this segment. Hopefully the glasses trick people, though. So murder, friends with a murderer? Ooh. I don't know, man. Goodbye.